rely on that is outside that typical AD carry meta we see.
Yeah, I just want to mention on this Zeri ban, like seeing it banned on blue side, not something we're used to seeing as Ryze has made it through the bans. Twist of Fate also available, by the way. But this Zeri, Weibo have played it twice, 0% win rate. It's not a pick that has worked for them. So I think it's more of a just stylistic thing where Huanfeng really does not want to play that Zeri. Over to top esports though. Is this Viego available? Lee Sin also available. Both Tian and SofM, huge players for grabbing that Lee Sin for them.
Yeah, and toying with the idea of the Graves, right? We saw Wayward have a really good series on this against EDG in particular. And they're going to lock it in very early. Feel uncomfortable with it as a blind. And I think Graves has been that big blind pick top laner. Only really Trindamere is a rough matchup. Be interested to see if Weibo go in that direction. But instantly, you know, the Angel on the Ryze is something you're going to have to match in the draft. For the time being, typically see jungler picked up in this rotation. Honestly, for most teams, jungle AD carry is what they take on red 1-2. So top esports going in a very different direction by taking this Graves and Rakan, right? So a lot of things left unpicked.
And I like that from top esports actually, because it kind of throws a bit of a curveball, but immediately look at this from Weibo. They're like, we don't care. We're playing a win lane. We're playing to dominate the bottom side of the map. Huanfeng looking JackeyLove in the eyes and saying, I have outlived you, teacher. Caitlyn looks complete domination available in this bottom lane, and JackeyLove apparently wants to go toe-to-toe.
And this is a horrific lane matchup, right? Critically, you have the Kate Lux with the Ryze mid to cover, right? Should find prio, can roam down. But also, Lux was originally picked when she came in a meta as a support because she was such a good matchup into Rakan, right? So hard for Rakan to punish compared to things like Leona North. The binding can just stop you in the tracks and follow up the trap. And Tristana is also going to get heavily outranged by Kate in the laning phase. Remember, she did get nerfed back when she was in meta so that her range early is lower. So top esports, I feel like they're in a comfortable spot already. They need to navigate this one. I think big things is going to be that mid jungle. They need pressure. They need to be able to match this Ryze.
Yeah, I'm really curious about this lock-in here. The fact that the Tristana is there against Caitlyn. I feel like top esports may be going to put some pressure towards the bottom side. We'll see where Tian goes, as the action going to be banned away by top esports. This is something that TheShy has played once. It actually didn't go that well for him, but still a pick that potentially could be a good matchup into the Graves. And so trying to set Wayward up for success on the top lane.
Yeah, and I feel like for Weibo, you're just banning away those mid laners that can kind of match the Ryze. Galio, one of those ones you can roam down towards the bot lane. Great with a Rakan for setup as well. You could even look towards the Twisted Fate, but basically, you want Angel to have not only priority, but also be able to move bot first whenever possible, so that Huanfeng and On can do what Kate Lux does and just push up and harass. For top esports, you know, trying to hit options that potentially could go into Wayward on the Graves, maybe even could look towards that Trinity as being something. But actually going for the Lee Sin, so wanting to weaken that mid-jungle matchup and potentially contest control there. Top esports obviously get first choice off pick coming out of this. They can go for mid lane as they know they're going up against the Ryze, or they could look to prioritize the jungler if there's something they want to take that stands out, you know, something like the Xin Zhao, and then potentially leave Weibo with less options available in the jungle.
Remember that Hecarim was the first ban as well. So Tian, even though he has loved to go towards that Hecarim, it's being respected and taken away. So has to go for something else. The Viego is still available. That was hovered earlier on in the draft. It has been a comfort pick for Tian, but looks like Knight instead going to go for a blind pick in the mid lane. Oh, it's not blind pick, there's a Ryze.
Yeah, it's an Ahri. So I think they want to make sure the matchup's good. If you pick Xin Zhao, there's potential to go into things like the Trundle, the Volibear that can cause problems. Actually, for Weibo, if you get Volibear Ryze, to me, that is the perfect level 6 side lane dive, right? Because you can turn the tower off, you have the Realm Orb, really solid. Shy looking towards a Gnar, something that can just play a pretty neutral lane to the Graves, right? That's the goal. The goal for Weibo is bot lane focus, so the Shy just needs to survive. And we'll see what's picked up by SofM there. I feel like the Volibear would make a lot of sense in my eyes, but there's a lot he can go. But I do want to see something that does have a bit of early agency. The Viego, maybe not quite as much early agency as I'd like, but still definitely a strong option that can ramp up in team fights. And if you do land a binding, land the Room Prison, definitely can allow you to get those single target resets. But going where they did, we'll go for the Jarvan. So something with that early gank pressure, right? And particularly onto the Ahri. Hard to avoid if you get room prisoned into the flag and drag. Not much you can do before level 6.
You know, I'm seeing that Jarvan locked in for SofM. I think I feel a Warmog's coming on. I don't know about you, Aux. I can already sense it. It's near. It's near. The Viego being hovered here. Zinzao still available as well. Aggressive junglers, though. That's the key here for the side of Top Esports. Viego will be the answer. Look at the resets on the side of Top Esports. Viego, Ahri, and Tristana. If you get one kill in a fight for Top Esports, you're just going to take over.
That's the thing, right? When it comes to those team fights, they have the strong gauge from the Rakan, right? They have the reset potential. You can 100% see how Top Esports, when they get to the skirmishes and fights, can flourish. But the problem is getting there. You know, the Ryze is going to be able to push early, have control of the lane. Jarvan is going to be able to have more impact pre-6 compared to the Viego. And then it's this bot lane. That's what I'm so worried about. Is this 2v2 matchup in isolation is awful for Top Esports. You're going to get harassed, pushed, pressured, poked. You're going to lose plates as well. It is not going to be a fun time. And really, Top Esports, you know, they're going to have their work cut out for them navigating this early game. But if they get through it, there is definitely potential.
Certainly is. It feels like win lane, win game on the bottom side of the map here. Side of Weibo. But let's be honest, Top Esports, not a team that it's easy to pull that kind of strategy off against. We'll have to see whether this strategy is going to work out. Definitely an interesting draft coming out from both sides. Not the way I would have anticipated. Like, we're so used to just seeing Jinx and Aphelios every single game with a little bit of Zeri sprinkled in. But with all three banned, we get a totally different style of League of Legends today. Huanfeng, a lot of pressure on his shoulders to dominate that laning phase, to take JackeyLove down, and to take that advantage into the mid-game with Top Esports. Never a team that you can count out when it comes to the mid-game skirmishing.
Yeah, and something I want to kind of talk about is we had a game which was OMG against V5 game 1, whereas a similar situation where the enemy team at V5 had that Kate Lux, and I was like, I don't know how they're going to be able to handle this. Too much pressure. And you know what they did? They went for some aggressive level 1 invades. They had Shanji on the Shen stay for like 3 waves just to chain kills together, if anyone remembers. Yeah, I feel like something creative like that could be the answer for Top Esports. You know, a map split, aggressive players where you look to burn early summoners from Weibo. Just don't let them play the lane in isolation. That's the big worry, because that's really what Kate Lux does so well, and that's why the Ryze is so important, is the coverage. Is that when it is just a raw 2v2, like if you went into a custom game 2v2, one side of Kate Lux, the other side just wouldn't have a fun time. It makes it so difficult. That range harass, the poke potential, and the push, all critical elements here.
We'll see what Tian is going to be doing. I'm looking towards these junglers because we talked already about that Jarvan having early gank potential. Well, Viego, you can be quite aggressive as well if you go for the W second. There's a bit of an all-in on the bottom side. Mark gets a knock-up. Guardian going to be used here. The bomb on is going to be big damage, but Huanfeng kind of just answers on to JackeyLove instead. And ultimately, I think Weibo come out on top.
Yeah, again, one critical mechanic with Caitlyn is when you're in those brushes, you stack your headshots twice as fast. Some good trading coming out. On isn't too bothered. We'll have the extra health. We'll have those health potions just to sustain up. And critically, with JackeyLove burning through health potions already, puts you in a rough spot.
I've had both top laners just going ham on each other right to start the lane. But the thing is, Wayward has a long sword and his refillable potion. So his sustain, not necessarily as strong as what TheShy brings to the table with that fleet footwork. So it's actually quite a good trade for TheShy to start things off. Lane's going well at the very start of things on both sides of the map for Weibo. But I want to talk a little bit more about that mid lane matchup that you talked about, right? Where Angel theoretically should have the push in that matchup, should be able to make plays on the map. Are we anticipating Angel trying to make early plays towards the bottom side here on the Ryze, or is it more just a matter of making sure that Knight can't?
I think it's more the denial thing, especially pre-6. Once you get the Realm Orb, it's a lot easier to make those plays. But by having priority and getting control of the area, you can see that early ward he put down. It just means you're basically stopping Knight from being able to make the plays. And that's the important thing, right? If you let this lane go in isolation, as we're seeing already from Weibo, it's so heavily favored. Mark takes the binding there, gets chunked out. This is just what you want to maintain, right? You want a fair 2v2 for as long as possible. The second it gets scrappier, that's where there's more potential for resets for JackeyLove. You know, Tian can come in, Knight as well. That's where it's precarious. So definitely, as you said, more about that denial.
SofM hanging around on the bottom side right now. I think he's just going to go for the Scuttle Crab with this priority he has in the bottom lane. One thing I want to mention as well is that one of the awkward things about this bottom lane matchup for top esports is even if the wave ever gets in a precarious spot where it's sort of frozen against Huanfeng and On, well, you're playing Tristana. You can't ever even hold that wave on your side. It's going to eventually push towards Huanfeng and On again because of your passive. So Tian actually missing the Scuttle Crab when he stood there. Not ideal.
It was hiding in the brush, right? I swear, this Scuttle Crab, people should be like watching, researching it. The jukes available is just on another level.
Yeah, we talk about these players having great mechanics. What about the Scuttle Crab? No one ever given the props to the Scuttle Crab that it deserves.
You know, we often talk about like regional differences, like, you know, how good LPL tops are. I wonder what is the regional difference between Scuttle Crabs, like how the mechanics vary.
Well, from what I've seen, the North American Scuttle Crab, really strong. Blabber knows all about that.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, I think early so far, we've seen both junglers just kind of farming up, which, you know, there haven't been too many windows open up. I do think if anywhere is going to get ganked for Weibo, it's probably going to be that mid lane, right? Pre-6. You can set up the room prison. Flag and Drag comes out. Not much Knight can do. I think for the time being, they're quite content with just the lanes playing out. I mean, top lane, where Wayward was able to get that early prio, it's still even in farm. Nothing too much has come to fruition. In the bot lane, not honestly too much has come out either, right? We've seen the prio there, but I feel like where the Caitlyn really starts to ramp is like that level 5-6 area. A few points on your Q makes it really hurt. On top of that, when you get your ults available, it goes from, okay, I got hit by a binding, I'm poked out, to, okay, I got hit by a binding, I'm just dead.
Well, flash out from Angel in the mid lane. Knight actually flashed forwards as well to try and make that play happen, but doesn't quite connect the play. Both junglers relatively quiet. We've seen this little bit of action in the mid lane, but so far, that's all we're getting out from either of them. And I am curious, though, because this Jarvan pick, we talked about it being able to be proactive. So far, I feel like it's SofM more just playing for farm and also playing to make sure that Tian can't get it.
Yeah, but I am going to say, I feel like Jarvan, not, oh, Knight's looking for the ult.
Yeah, ult's forward, looking for the charm. Will be able to hit onto Angel. There's a knock-up onto Tian, though. Damage coming out from Angel to try and finish off the jungler, but first blood comes through for Tian. And now SofM might get charmed himself, but no mana available for Knight. So SofM walks away.
Huge win there coming out for the mid-jungle duo of top esports, right? The resets are available once you get those, very hard for Weibo to contest. And honestly, just a bit of an overzealous commit, right? It felt like the momentum was there from the level 6 being hit by Knight. It's such a power spike, and Angel's level 6 isn't really going to offer much power in the fights other than the boost to your damage on your overload. All in coming in.
TheShy might be in trouble or not. He hops over the head, but flash forward from Wayward and finds the 1v1. Beautifully done.
Yeah, and I asked the question, Wayward up against TheShy, such a big name to face against, and he manages to find the solo kill with that mid 2v2 winning out for top esports. Top coming out ahead. Things are looking solid on this side of the map. What I will say though, bot lane has started to open up. 15 CS lead between these two, already one plate down. This is where things are painful for top esports bot lane.
And TheShy theoretically could have flashed those up. Let's take another look as Knight ults forward to start.
Angel, quite low on mana, right? But critically, Knight waiting so long to get the charm. The turnaround tries to come on at the end, but just not able to find the damage. And as soon as the kill is taken, SofM knows that's it done. You know, and then here, it's close, but the ult and then this flash auto, the burst from the graves at close range, so significant. And just some nice outplays from top esports. And this is really what we talk about with them. The individual talent is really there for this team.
So much. There's going to be so much of that across this series because the individual talent of Weibo as well. Certainly no slouches on this team. So I feel like this whole matchup is just going to be so exciting to watch. Big lead in the bottom lane for Huanfeng with a 20 CS advantage. But Wayward and Tian both with kills for themselves to find advantages in their respective matchups. Wayward, the outplay on the top side does mean he has no flash available. So potential opportunity to punish for TheShy and for SofM. But for now, it's top esports on the bottom side of the map. Despite JackeyLove currently resetting, we're going to go for this Drake, and it doesn't look like SofM is going to contest at all on. Just trying to fight for these wards, but not going to be able to win that fight, at least for the time being. Drake will be finished off by Tian. That's a good little start for top esports. 2 kills across the board. A Drake as well. Very nicely done.
honestly a steal, considering the pressure the Weibo's bot lane have had. I feel like it should be a no-brainer that they're able to pick up those early Drakes, right? It should be a granted. Top Esports able to get that one. Obviously makes the soul stacking going to be delayed for Weibo, even if they do find more advantages in the bot lane. And now we actually see both Huanfeng moving up.
Good finding in the mid lane. There's oh my days, Huanfeng's here too. The whole team has decided to come to the mid lane, and Knight had no idea that was coming. Ult in the top side now as Wayward stunned against the wall. This is the Mega Gnar we've all heard about, but Wayward, tanky enough, has that lifesteal as well. Not too worried.
Yeah, just not that much damage available to TheShy right now, even though he lands everything. The fact that he is just Ninja Tabbies and Doran Shield, it means that Wayward tanky enough to survive, because Graves obviously has so much armor baked into his kit, and then can just sustain up in the long run. Now, because of that pick mid, SofM.
SofM has made a bit of a blunder there, has to flash back over the wall. Luckily for him, Tian flashed in the last fight in the mid lane, so he won't go down, but that was a very bold flag and drag into the top lane.
Yeah, bit of a mistake, I feel. And also, you know, I'm not sure it's that worth it. I feel like the Jarvan, you know, I'm going to say something about this Jarvan in general. I was going to say it's not the best at dealing with the Graves, right? You can dash at your Cataclysm. The Jarvan pick in general this game, everyone on top esports has a dash in their kit, right? No one is really truly trapped when you hit that ultimate. And often that's what we look for in the value for the Jarvan, right? Being able to ult like a Jinx or an Aphelios. They can't get out without their flash. That isn't really a play here, so definitely doesn't have as much power.
A bit of crucial information on the back of that as well is that this was the 5th pick for Weibo as well. They knew almost everyone they were going up against and chose to go for this Jarvan regardless. So we'll see whether that comes to bite them across the course of this game. But right now, gold almost dead even. It's just a 300 gold lead in favor of Weibo. Drake coming up in 3 minutes time. But SofM has that Herald. And we have to start to think about where he's going to go, because with the Caitlyn looks in the bottom side, I mean, that's the lane that screams to me you should be making plays.
Yeah, and if you take that bot lane tower, the ideal is you move the Kate looks around, you can look mid, you can look top, and you start to take more and more plates. I really want to see that momentum from Weibo, because I feel as the game goes later, right, things like the Tristana will start to ramp up more, the Viego as well, those resets, the Graves. There's a lot of value there, so I think for Weibo, I want to see this momentum the bot lane have continued. But top esports making it tricky, right? We see the moves coming in. Knight and Tian confident, and will push in just to contest that vision and have some control over the bot side.
Trying to maintain that control. Knight has got to the point now as well where he can very easily clear these waves. So that presence from the Ryze in the early stages of the game has started to diminish somewhat in terms of just being able to shove out that mid wave, as Huanfeng will find an opportunity to crash one wave in this bottom side. Won't be able to get too much off the back of it. Maybe just goes for a reset himself. 2 minutes on that Drake that we talked about. And SofM still yet to use the Herald, but could save that. Try and use it for pressure when that Drake is coming up.
Yeah, could look for 2 plates mid, right? Get that mid lane tower lower, potentially set it up for later. But again, I feel like one of the things is that mid lane tower is great to take when you're just trying to slowly, you know, find an advantage in the game. You get the plate gold. You can also look to take that tower later. But I want momentum, right? I want the bot lane to snowball this lead. They have 700 gold up at the moment between AD carries. And that is really your win con here. And I gotta say, we set up these 2 team compositions. We looked at Angel on this Ryze. And as much as I said, as I'm saying it,
bot side, JackeyLove's in trouble, but it's just Angel coming to say hello to his old buddy.
You know, I was gonna say, like, don't get time to talk.
Engage in the jungle now. An answer from top esports, and it's a damn good answer. As On is switched off in the bottom side. That's going to be a plate in the mid lane for Knight as well. Maybe more. With Drake coming up in 55 seconds. Angel and SofM in trouble here. Angel will walk away. SofM gets under a tower in the mid lane. Looks like everyone gets away with it aside from On.
Some great pick potential coming out from top esports. And I was going to say, in Angel's Realm Warp is there to discourage, but it hadn't really been used yet, right? Level 9 hadn't used one. Finally pops it and then finds nothing, right? JackeyLove Cleanse and Flash available. Really no chance of taking him down. And we see top esports go for a good answer. And overall, I gotta say, I was very worried about top esports on this bot side of the map. I think things are pretty okay, right? Tower still up, only 2 plates gone. In fact, JackeyLove was just able to equalize in terms of plates, I believe.
It's a 10 CS lead, but that's about it, right?
Yeah,
and the 1 kill, but yeah. Agreed. Everything going all right for top esports in the bottom side. 5 seconds until Drake, though. I was sort of expecting, I don't know, I feel like Maybe it's just the matchup. Maybe I'm just getting too excited. But I saw the Drake timer. I'm like, okay, team fight in 5 minutes time. Let's go. It's only the second Drake. I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself. Reset coming out from Knight. Does have the TP, though, if Top Esports do want to try and contest for that Drake. It's Wayward trying to finish off that tower plate, but won't quite be able to.
Yeah, now with the shield bow in hand, very hard for the Shadow to find a kill, right? You have that burst protection with the shield, but also you'll kind of just out-sustain any harass coming through from the TheShy. You're permanently going to be able to find Prio. Obviously, the Gnar has a lot of strength in team fights, but you're kind of just going to be trapped in the lane against Wayward. Top Esports will pick up the second dragon, and I'm just going to say it, this Caitlyn Lux hasn't worked to the value we'd expect so far. You pick this bot lane to crush lane, right? There is a gold advantage, but you haven't taken that first tower. Plates are about to time off. You only got 2 in the bot lane. You've missed out on the first 2 dragons as well, right? So overall, I'd say it's kind of been a bit of a miss. You know, there's still potential for this bot lane to do things later on, but you definitely would have liked to get more out of this.
TheShy going aggressive with his ulti up onto Wayward here, just trying to get some damage while he is in that Mega Gnar and can punish the enemy laner. But yeah, you're absolutely right. And even the advantage that Huanfeng has, right? A good chunk of that gold was actually them ganking the mid lane as opposed to winning their lane. Like, it's not even from his lane that he managed to get that gold lead. They went for the gank onto Knight earlier on. So, yeah, not really ideal for Weibo. And to be honest, it's kind of scary moving forwards because Caitlyn, one of these champions that is notorious for a huge power trough in the mid game. Does feel like Top Esports, they're the ones in control of this one for the time being at very least. As Knight moves down, Angel, sorry, moves down to answer JackeyLove in that bottom side, make sure that the tower doesn't drop.
Yeah, and it looks like they're trying to apply some pressure in the mid lane, right? That tower mid is fairly low, but just constantly being mitigated to a decent degree. And I feel like one thing you can sort of talk about a bit at this point is how the side lanes sort of manage. I feel like Ahri is pretty okay holding Ryze, right? You have that mobility, you can't really be punished too easily. Can just clear the waves. I think Ryze does have the advantage, but on the other side, the Graves pretty strong. We now do have the Hull Breaker picked up for the TheShy, so going to make the waves take a bit longer to clear, but still I feel like the pressure advantage in favor of Wayward now. SofM.
Oh, quickness in the mid lane. SofM is just going to get one shot, flashes away, but still goes down. 4v5 now as Weibo still committing to the play. TheShy about to turn Mega. Perhaps a window, perhaps an ulti could come through, but Top Esports, they're just going to disengage. They're not interested in the fight anymore as TheShy trying to close this gap. Does have his flash available, and he's still looking like he wants to go for it, but this is 4v5. Weibo, you got to be careful.
I will say, though, Top Esports want to make way out of the Mega Gnar. That's going to allow SofM to come back, and critically, they burn a lot of big tools, right? No Ahri ultimate, no Rakan or Tristana ultimates. Weibo are in position. They want to continue this passage of play.
They certainly do. TheShy has no fear. Mega or not, he wants to fight you. There's the Herald trying to be reset, it feels like, by Weibo at this point, but it won't go. JackeyLove just about gets away with his cleanse there. Herald down to 1,000 HP. It's going to be a smite coming through from Tian in the end. But now Weibo trying to protect the eye of the Herald. At least try and deny the pressure on the map that the Herald can offer. That was dicey for both teams, honestly. That felt on a knife's edge as Tian's trying to sneak in, but Angel is not going to allow it.
Yeah, making sure they don't let that pickup come in, but they might find a play here. The Knight looking.
Yeah, TheShy could be in trouble, but in the meantime, tier 1 in the mid lane will go down. TheShy has pushed up the lane. He has no idea that a play is happening right now. Jumps away, dodges the charm. There's an Everfrost coming in. The stun dodged by TheShy.
Oh
Mega Gnar comes through to save the day. I think TheShy will be all right on this one, or maybe he'll look for something himself. Goes on tonight, trying to find a solo kill. 2v1, TheShy makes it happen again. Tian wants to punish, wants to find an answer for this one, will get revenge. But my God, TheShy, he's a different breed.
Big win there for Weibo. TheShy not only manages to dodge everything, turns it around, and they get the mid lane tier 1. Tian looking for one himself, but will be denied by SofM. Good answer back from Weibo. A lot of denial. They deny the Herald. They deny that play on the top side, and they are rewarded for the replay. And I'm just going to say it. Top Esports, everything they had to hit was missed. Charm doesn't end up connecting. The Everfrost does, sure. But then the stun from chat, I mean, I think he was predicting the flash, but ambitious at the least, I'll say.
Imagine thinking TheShy will flash away from you. Imagine thinking TheShy will respect what you're bringing to the table. He flashes in and finds the kill for himself. I can't believe TheShy gets a kill there. That is just It's kind of unacceptable, honestly. Like, that should not ever happen. But TheShy, I mean, like I said before, he is a different breed. 20 seconds until Drake comes up, though. And it feels like we're getting to the point where Weibo do need to start contesting.
Yeah, and I think the big thing that makes this difficult is ideally Weibo want to be on the objective first. Oh my, Knight chunked already.
He's just looking for Knight anywhere on the map. He wants to find a kill. Top Esports grouping in the brush, though. SofM has to be the one to go forwards. He's got a gold drink here. He's relatively tanky.
And look at the minimap. Knight can't get to the objective. He's just zoned out completely. It's a 4v5 right now for Top Esports because they can't even get their mid laner into the play, which is why they look so hesitant here and they have to move away. And now Weibo can start to set up a trap line from Huanfeng. SofM on the flank.
This is going to be maybe a 50-50 smite at this point. Wayward actually goes to the ult mark with the quickness only onto one, though. Not the ideal target as Angel is damn tanky, and he's got a stopwatch. See you later, Top Esports. Easy kill onto Tian, and a dragon taken as Weibo start to wrestle control of this game.
Critically, a shutdown as well onto that Viego. Nice play, and I have to credit TheShy with that, right? He stopped Knight from being able to get in on it, and critically, with Top Esports, you want to just be able to burst down a target. If you can land a charm, it does so much for Viego, for the Tristana as well in terms of getting those resets. And I think Weibo, all things considered, managed that one pretty beautifully.
Man, and I feel like both of these teams, they have such creative players. Like TheShy managing to keep Angel out of this play. It's not something you'd see many teams do.
Yeah, and it just has such an impact, right? Because if the charm comes down, you could see Angel just be picked without getting the opportunity to pop that stopwatch. And if he goes down, the reset comes in for Tian, it makes all the difference. That's why he commits so heavily on these plays, because he knows if he does get that reset, the invulnerability window, the fact he gets the health back, makes it so difficult to take him out now. Gold's still dead even, right? And despite the fact Weibo got that dragon, it's still 2-1 in favor of Top Esports. Really anyone's game still at this point. And as much as we said Weibo's bot lane didn't get the results they hoped for, Huanfeng's still pretty strong on this Caitlyn.
I mean, yeah, like once you finish that second item as well, he's going for the Lord Doms as a second item. So very much focused on a big spike at the level 3 mark. And nobody will be tanky enough to deal with damage that he'll be bringing to the table once he has some armor pen for himself. TheShy could be on a 2v1 on this bottom side. Both solo laners trying to take this Gnar on, and TheShy this time around will respect it, understands the situation, backs away and accepts that Wayward will be able to finish that tower in the end. So I kind of want to take a second to take stock of what's been happening in this game, because it's been, even though the kill score is fairly low, it's felt fairly chaotic, right? With 21 minutes in, gold is just about even. Nice little bind there. Bit of damage onto Marcus. Huanfeng gets hit by a charm. Oh, no. Oh, look at the CC chain. The charm hits. You don't get to play League of Legends anymore. Top Esports now TPing. They're going to commit to a Baron.
Yeah, they want the Baron or the fight that entails. Weibo have to come and contest this. Critically, TheShy has TP, has Mega Gnar. He is going to reset first. And actually, Mega Gnar going to time out as a result. It's on SofM here.
TP coming out from TheShy. He wants to get involved, but he's just turned mini Gnar. It's a disaster for Top Esports. They did damage onto TheShy. Baron low. The laser is too late. Top Esports, they get the Baron. They get a bonus kill onto SofM, who buys a lot of time, but can't finish anything off. Top Esports, one pick, and they blow this game wide open. I was just saying how even the gold is. Well, it's a 3K lead now for Top Esports.
Massive amount of momentum in favor of them, and it's critically finding those picks. Now, Realm Wolf coming in. They're trying to answer back.
A trial tonight.
His ult just came up.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Literally just came up, yeah. And actually looking for a bit himself. But yeah, that's the thing. The Ahri so powerful in finding those picks. Get one onto Huanfeng, and that is enough. That is the concern, right? Top Esports with that pick potential. And we will get the replay. You know, I feel like here you have to kind of expect, I think, the Viego being up in your face. They're looking for something, and Knight finds the beautiful play. And another! You know, we come out the replay, we get another one. More picks from Top Esports.
And more picks from Knight specifically there as well, managing to find himself another kill. And, you know, when we saw Ahri and champions like this coming into the meta, Knight is the kind of player you immediately think of to be able to make the magic happen on these kinds of picks, be able to make the mechanical outplays. He's on 2 items, and he's really going to be putting the pressure on. This Baron, though, is going to be a nightmare for Weibo, because they don't really want to be dealing with this right now. They don't have the wave clear to deal with the Baron minions.
And also, their engage isn't that great. It's really SofM, but again, everyone on top esports has a dash in that kit. Cataclysm won't keep them locked in, and now they're looking for more.
TheShy's gonna die here. Just gets destroyed. And we said, top esports, if they can find an advantage, will snowball like crazy, and that's exactly what we're witnessing. Good charm comes through. Bit of damage. It's just onto On, though, so not the end of the world, but another tower in the bottom lane. Top esports continue to expand that gold lead. It's 5,000 lead right now. It's gone up so much. Look at the Baron power play in the top right corner. 5k gold difference just off of this Baron alone.
Yeah, and we see, you know, in the picture-in-picture how On got caught. And that's the thing with the Lux is you need to be contestant vision, but it's so risky to do so. So much potential for top esports to take a kill. They're going to keep applying this pressure on this mid lane tier 2. Oh, charm hits. Not going to have any follow-up. Dragon in 20 seconds would be the third for top esports, but they really want this tier 2 before they go for it.
Certainly do, and they should be able to finish it off here as JackeyLove steps on forwards. His Knight threatening with more charms, and Weibo now significantly on the back foot. We need to see more items coming through for Huanfeng. He's on the 2-item mark on the Caitlyn, but realistically, it's 3 items where you're really going to come alive. The Ryze as well with this build, you do take a bit of a while before your damage starts to ramp up. SofM, sorry, crucially getting close to his Warmog's power spike. We all know he loves a Warmog, so you can see he's head towards that. We are starting to see some items come through for Weibo, but I want to ask you, Aux, what is the game plan now for Weibo? Because we said, win the bottom lane really hard with this Caitlyn Lux. That didn't really happen. We talked about trying to win team fights. Well, is that still a viable scenario when you're this far behind in gold?
It's rough, but it has to be. And I think the main thing is top esports need to make a mistake when they funnel in, right? We've seen how Tian, Knight, JackeyLove, Mark will all dive forwards. What you need is a good front to back setup where, you know, TheShy can land a big Mega Gnar ultimate. You have Huanfeng and On the back line. You land in traps. You're landing bindings. It needs to be that front to back. But the problem is at the moment, top esports aren't even really opting into team fights. They're looking for picks, right? They're looking for individual members. And it really makes Weibo struggle to find anything, right? And I feel like if we get a structured 5v5, that's the best odds for Weibo. But when the goal differential is this much, it's hard to see.
Tough. Yeah, it really is. One thing that maybe can happen if On can find a miracle binding, you get a trap underneath the feet, there is big pick potential.
Wow.
Or maybe he gets picked himself the second we look at a different lane. On is gone again. That's the 3rd time it's happened this game. TheShy, you know, he's got himself a bounty, but I'm not sure that's going to be enough to answer for what's happening on the top side of the map. JackeyLove charges forward. He's on that Tristana, remember, as well. He takes towers damn quickly. SofM, the next target. He tries to escape, but Mark with the follow-up engage. The bomb on SofM said, Gore Drinker is not enough, apparently. He goes down anyways. JackeyLove gets another. This might just be game, honestly. Top esports. The definition of the phrase, you give an inch, they take a mile. The second they have control of this game, they've blown it wide open.
One pick was all it took onto... Oh, actually, JackeyLove!
Oh my god, JackeyLove does not care. On is just fodder for his cannon. Now into the base they go. They want to finish things off. Wayward grabs himself a couple of kills to finish out in style. We talked about Mojo, therefore top esports, they don't give time for Mojo to even be a factor. 15-3, 1 pick is all it takes.
And we talked about Weibo's game 2 happy game. Game 1, that wasn't a happy game. That was a sad game for Weibo. They didn't find the advantage they needed, but at top esports, as you said, give them an inch and they take the whole game. 1 pick on the Caitlyn was it felt just blew that game open. And I feel like, you know, they had advantages on the top side. But the critical thing was Weibo couldn't play to their win cons. And from there, it just felt like it spiraled out of control so rapidly.
Yeah, I mean, top esports, if there's one thing that you really cannot criticize for them, they are proactive. When they have the advantage, they will make things happen. Often too much. Often they end up throwing their leads because of that proactivity. But when they have a window to push their advantage, they will crush people underfoot. I cannot believe how quickly they just demolished Weibo in this game after it felt like a relatively even early game, right? But that's kind of the problem.
Yeah.
Because Weibo had drafted for a dominant early game and they didn't get to see it.
And you can see from the goal graph, you know, there's little tiny bits back and forth, but it was so even. And as a result, just they never found the momentum they needed. And that was the critical thing, is I was concerned about how top esports would deal with early lane pressure, but it never came to fruition. Plates were even in the bot lane. JackeyLove and Huanfeng had the same amount. Yes, Huanfeng had a CS lead and got that kill mid, but it wasn't significant enough. And speaking of mid, Knight on this Ahri, so many pivotal charms in these fights to set up the team. It's as you said, right? Knight on a champion like Ahri, absolutely stellar. And it's a question we raised at the start of the day. Angel, not the best laner, going up against Knight, definitely a tricky matchup, but I feel like it's an easy answer who outperformed in this one.
Yeah, I mean, Angel basically didn't exist. The Realm Warp we saw towards the bottom side didn't really do anything. We saw a Realm Warp towards the top side that wasn't really able to achieve its goals as well. Feels like Angel had a very, very quiet start to this series. We're going to jump into a break and we'll find out what Weibo have up their sleeves for game number 2.